these abridged versions of very famous books like Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist is written by Charles Dickens and it's a big fat book. But for children, it was abridged.
Yes.
Abridged was to be a satire on the British courts in those days.
Anilaji, that's Snow White. Okay. Now, children, in place of reading Snow White, they prefer to watch it on TV because Snow White is very much available there in form of cartoon, in form of movie. Okay. So animation movies. So many ways they enjoy watching it on TV or maybe on mobile. But we were enjoying in our days these books, physical books. Like I was, just a few schools, handful of schools are there, those who have really wonderful library in the school campus, and they have really designated periods for library class. Yes. So what's the role of parents in inculcating this beautiful habit among the kids?
As a timid child, he was very scared of the dark. And
Good evening, Anilaji.
Good evening, Manjuji. How are you?
I'm the bee's knees. Tell me about yourself. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yes, it's a little hot these days, so that's it. But otherwise, it's okay.
This is living a part of India. Everywhere it's a scorching heat, actually.
Lazy days. You don't wish to do much because of the heat. You feel you'd rather sit under the fan or the AC and relax, read something or watch television or something or the other.
Yes, right. You are very true. But we have no control. And because of global warming, I feel every day by day it's becoming worse.
Yes, that's true.
And number of ACs are increasing in every house. That is another reason for this temperature.
Yeah. And then you never know, we have all these insecurities. You never know, sometimes it starts raining. And there might be a thunderstorm also. Surprisingly, in place where I am, in the papers I was reading, 8 districts of Telangana there's a danger of a third thunderstorm. I said, what is this? Either it's so hot and sunny, and sometimes it just rains. And people are caught unaware, poor things. And those who are coming from work, they get caught in the rain.
Right. Even yesterday we went for a morning walk and all of a sudden it was like cloudy, but we never expected that it would rain, and it started raining. Not drizzling, even raining. And then we were caught up somewhere in the park itself for half an hour. And when the rain stopped somewhere, then we just walked for some time and then we came back. So this is unpredictable actually. And even weather forecast also, I didn't check that it's going to rain. And this is
I believe it's bad for the crops, unseasonal rain.
Right.
That is the problem. So I have some people who are in the agricultural sector, and they say it's very bad for the crops. So what can be done? So the agriculturalists who suffer because of that.
And farmers must be struggling because of this.
Because
they are not prepared with all these things, that maybe the crops are on the land itself, on the farm itself, and the rain starts.
Yes.
They cannot keep everything inside the house. They don't have even cold storage in villages. Yes.
That's the sorry part of it.
Little problems are always there. So hello, my dear viewers. Today you see Anilaji here, who is I will tell her to introduce later, but I want to talk about her a little. She is an English language professional for quite some time. I don't know that how long she has been, but she has been teaching for many years. Okay, and she has been
more than 25 years.
More than 25 years.
Yes,
oh my God. So now I would request you, Anilaji, that please introduce yourself in brief. And then whenever I get guests like you on my channel, I don't know what happens to me. I feel like asking so many questions, which can help my audience and my viewers. So first, you just introduce yourself in brief, and then we'll straight away go and discuss the topic.
Yeah. So as you were saying, Manjuji, I was
it's okay. You can call me
language professional. So I've been in the English. I will have a postgraduate degree in English literature and taught. I did my postgraduate certificate in the teaching of English from the English and Foreign Language University in Hyderabad. So you probably heard of it. Even Lucknow has got a branch. FLU, it's called.
Okay.
So those is something which you do after post-graduation. So that's what I did, and did my BEd as well. So I've been in the teaching line for quite some time, and I was traveling all over the country because either my father was posted somewhere in the north, so that's where I was. And later, after my marriage, my husband is also posted in Delhi, and there also I taught. And now I'm in Hyderabad for the past many years, and that's it. So I've been venturing. Apart from teaching, I've done some other freelance jobs as a trainer and as a cat corporate trainer for one thing, and also for cat coaching, and so on. So I've tried out different things, but all related to the English language. That's it. So that's my introduction in brief.
A wonderful introduction, Anilaji, and I'm grateful that you accepted my request and you are here and we are sharing the screen together. I have a I feel that it's a very important topic, and nobody can explain this topic better than you. This is what I feel today, and this topic popped up in my mind, and I want to discuss with you if you are open to it on discussing for a random topic.
Yeah, whatever you say.
So today
any topic is okay.
Today I want to discuss with you about reading habit, especially if we talk about reading habit in our days and reading habit of today's kids.
Today's kids, wow.
Yes. So
Lovely.
reading
I
is
know.
something, when we talk about language, so always very easily we say there are four pillars, there are four aspects of learning this language, and reading is one pillar of it, one part of it. And how important and crucial it is that we all know. But still, if we compare with today's kids, and if we look back to our time when we were kids, we were children. So how would you address this topic first?
As if I look back into my childhood, and I remember, since fortunately for us, I think we had no television, nothing to, distract us.
Right.
And the lovely, beautiful books. I remember my father buying some beautiful fairy tales for me when I was, I think, 6 or 7 years old. And that is the thing, it was like magic. Snow White, Cinderella, and what were the other Snow White? And there was a few other very famous fairy tales, and it was like magic. And after that, I was so glued to storybooks and beautiful pictures, fairy tales.
Right.
And then as I grew up, I think I was reading Grimm's fairy tales. You had Aladdin and the 40 Thieves and this and that. So many. I mean, those are some things which have stuck in my mind after all these years. Hansel and Gretel, I don't remember. You must have read it also.
Yes.
House of Cakes and all that, and the
Yes.
children are kidnapped by a witch. So I think it is so, it was like magical. You get so involved in the story, beautiful pictures, and that was the age when we were enjoying all that. I think later, you must have probably read, we had these abridged versions of very famous books like Oliver Twist. Oliver Twist is written by Charles Dickens, and it's a big fat book. But for children, it was abridged.
Yes.
Abridged versions, simple versions. Yes. So as children, I remember, I think when I was 12 or 13 years old, maybe I read Oliver Twist, the boy who asks for more, and how it was in those orphanages in Britain in those years.
Right.
And there were so many, like Little Women, you must have heard, very famous. It's a classic. But for children, they would sort of abridge it, make it simpler. Yes. And that's what we read. And later on, we read the big ones. Then you had the Gulliver Travels. You must have read it. Lilliput's, the land of the Lilliput's.
And still I imagine actually the dwarfs.
Yeah, 6 inches tall. And, I think in class 5 or 6, I think in the English books also we had that story.
Yes. Even in Hindi books also, these stories were introduced somewhere. Yes.
So later during MA days, I read the actual book.
Right.
So it's supposed to be a satire on the British courts in those days. Written by Swift, I think Robert Swift, or what's his first name? So this was a satire, but because it was simplified for children, we only saw the fact that, okay, Gulliver went to a land where there were these little 6 inches figures, human beings, and how it happened. He helped them, they helped him, and all that. So these were, now what is the benefit? Do the children nowadays have that, interest to read books?
Because
I
as you said,
find,
Anilaji, that Snow White, okay?
mm,
Now children, in place of reading Snow White, they prefer to watch it on TV because Snow
TV,
White
yes.
is very much available there in form of cartoon, in form of movie, okay? So animation movies. So many ways
Mm,
they enjoy watching it on TV or maybe
yes.
on mobile. But we were enjoying in our days these books, physical books. Like I also
Yes.
remember what you said, apart from those
Mm,
books, small, like little 1 rupee, 2 rupees book, Nandan,
mm.
Champak, Chanda Mama.
I remember reading those as well. Chanda
Ye-
Mama used to come in all languages. So
Yes,
I
yes.
perhaps read in Hindi, Chanda Mama, and you'll be surprised, Manju.
Hmm.
Most of the Chanda Mama used to carry a story from episode from Mahabharata in
Right.
every episode,
Yes,
every month, that is.
yes, yes.
So I think most of my knowledge of Mahabharata in those days
You
came from Chanda Mama.
right.
And
And
Ramayana also, I
Panchtantra,
think.
if you remember Panchatantra.
Panchatantra.
Yes.
Panchatantra, yes.
So
So
from
Nandan
there
and
we learned
Parag,
many things. Yes,
many
please.
things,
Hmm.
yes. So those were the books we had in those days. Do children nowadays read? I'm not sure. As you said, yes, they get everything quite a bit on uh, on the
Some
internet, of
children
course.
are like somewhere, maybe parents have inculcated this habit since their childhood.
Mm.
So they
Yes.
have become maybe voracious readers, we can say. But most of them
Mm.
are not, Anilaji, because I was a teacher in the past for 35 years. So I know the condition of the children. They want
Mm.
to see or watch everything in the smart class in place of studying in the classroom.
They don't
That
want to read.
traditional method they don't like much. Yes, they are no visual learners actually.
They don't want to read, yes.
They
And
don't
they
want to
they
read.
might become a little
Exceptions
lazy. They
are
become
there, but
passive.
still. Hmm.
Huh? They become passive learners, okay,
Right.
because maybe they know the story. But I feel there are so many benefits when they actually read. Um, I mean, to be quite frank, I also have interacted with a lot of students who are adults, that means in their 20s, let's say early 20s. And you'll be surprised when I ask them, or in some course of the talk, when the question comes of what did you read? What have you
Right.
read? Or something like that. They might have studied the course books. If they've done engineering, okay, or something else, or whatever it is. But as far as books which are not related to the course, to the syllabus, they don't know anything at all. So I've just had a few adults telling me that I read Tinkle. Imagine looking at a 20-year-old or 21-year-old, and he or she says that they read Tinkle. It's so, I didn't know where to look because the importance for reading is not there in the schools, in the colleges. So we had a regular library period. Every week we had this library period. Now I don't know how many schools have a regular library period also because there's no time for the children. They might be doing something else. So even schools are not enforcing. They're
So
not giving that importance
somewhere
to
maybe
the,
some schools have
some
introduced one
schools have.
class in a week, and maybe by the way that day it falls a holiday, so hardly they get one or two classes in a month. And then
Some
kids
schools,
are
not
kids.
again all, not all.
Not
Mm.
all. Kids are
Some
kids. They
schools,
go to the
yes.
library, maybe just a few schools, handful of schools are there, those who
Yes,
have
I know.
really wonderful library in the school campus, and they
Mm-hmm.
have really designated periods for library class.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's what is missing. And then when children are in the library as punishment, scolding, everything is prohibited. You can't scold them. You just have to motivate them for reading. How much they read within 20-25 minutes of class, because 10 minutes goes in making their line, going from the classroom to the library, then
Mm-hmm.
again 5 minutes prior to it they get ready
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
yeah,
come
yeah.
back to class. So within 20 to 25 minutes, then they another struggle, I have seen that children used to fight that I want to read this book, one book, five of them would wish to read the same book. So these are the struggles.
Yeah. But fortunately for me, when I was in school, every section had a library of its own.
Yes.
So, particularly when we were in junior school. So, in my own classroom, there used to be a cupboard full of
Ah,
books. And that's what we would read. And then once the period was over, we would put a name. We'd put a tag with our name in it so that the next week we would get back to the same book. So there was a continuation there. So this is what we did. I mean, I studied in a missionary school. So maybe in those days, as the importance to reading was there. And later on, when we became senior school children, of course, we could take books home as well. So that was different. But when we were in junior school, we were only supposed to read the books in school.
In school
So
campus.
all that was there. But yes, those beautiful books, as I remember. So Little Women, such a beautiful book. And then you, Enid Blyton, all those mystery books. I mean, they were
Yes,
again such fun to read.
right.
Imagine, I was thinking Enid Blyton has written so many books: mystery, adventure, The Famous Five, and Secret Seven, all written by one author. So,
Yes,
I mean,
amazing books.
see,
These were,
amazing.
yes, amazing
And
books.
see, the
Mm.
benefits, I think, are there. Children are so entertained. They are informed. Vocabulary. The most
Right.
important thing is the vocabulary.
Yes, very
They pick
valid
up
point.
they pick up words just like that,
Mhm.
unconsciously,
Yes, words
without
flow in
making
their
an
mind
effort.
without any
Yes.
extra efforts.
And then the structure of the sentences also is something that they subconsciously, unconsciously absorb.
So
Because when
true,
we say children, a lot of people make mistakes in the structure of a sentence. The
true.
subject might be singular, the verb might be plural, something or the other,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
they
yeah,
might
yeah.
forget a preposition. That goes on.
Yeah. Mhm.
But when they read these books unconsciously or just like that, the
Mhm.
structure gets embedded in their minds, the structure of a sentence. So
So true.
they write the correct sentences after
Mhm.
that. And
Mhm.
it need not necessarily be in English. I'm saying it could happen in any language. It could be Hindi, it could be anybody's mother tongue. So
Mhm.
this is something which reading habit should be emphasized at home first and then in the schools. And I mean, you
Right.
can't start it very late in college. College is a little late. It should start from home.
So, what's the
So
role of parents in inculcating this beautiful habit among the kids? How parents can help the kids to read
uh,
books, because these days e-books, if by the way somebody wants to read, they want to read e-books in place of physical books. Okay, so how parents can just tell their kids or enforce them to read books, physical books.
physical books.
Hmm.
I think children also learn by observation. If the parents read physically, they are the role models for their own children, I think.
Right,
If the
right.
parents sit with a laptop all the time or something, then what are the children going to learn? They'll also obviously learn the
Exactly.
same thing. Sit with a mobile phone or sit with a laptop. So that's what they're going to do. So in this context, I remember I was also talking to one of my relatives who is a very young
Mhm.
baby, just one and a
Who?
half.
Okay. Got
One
it.
of my relatives. So she has a young baby, about 1.5, 2 years old. So she was saying, when can I actually, get the child? Because I'm a teacher, I have been an educator. So people sometimes ask me. I said, the best time you start at 1 year old, read to the children. Read. The child might understand or not. It will understand something at least. And it absorbs the vocabulary. The child might not start talking straight away, but the words are going to the brain, they're being absorbed because the brain is like a sponge. It absorbs everything.
Yes, yes,
And when
yes.
the time comes, they will come out with the words. They are there in the brain all the time. I had these little books, These are some books which I had
Oh,
because
yes.
I have these little children sometimes come to my house. So these are
Lovely.
just
See to
little
see the
pictures,
even
huh?
see the cover and the image itself, we feel like just turning at least and to
Yeah,
check what
yeah,
is
yeah.
inside. Beautiful, beautiful.
Little stories, and this is also something which was written by a colleague of mine.
Okay.
All books, one-page stories with beautiful pictures and little uh, moral, a little moral at
Ah,
the end. This is for slightly older children, but this, as I said, is for young children.
yes.
And this is another one. So cute little thing all
You have
about
preserved
lots.
these books, Anilaji. I'm
Ah,
surprised.
no, No, these are not old books, but these are slightly new because
Yeah, I know.
when children come to my house,
Yes.
some relatives' children and all that, then I've used them. These are these pop-up books. You must have seen, no? Pop-up books. They
Yes, yes.
are
I have
so
gifted many
beautiful.
children for their birthday and all.
These are so beautiful.
So
And
beautiful.
again, this
Even
is
we feel
Mowgli.
like reading these books.
Of course, yeah.
So children would
So,
be fascinated to see even the shape and the picture of the book.
so that's what parents should do. They should, give their children these books. But let's say if the child is very young, then that doesn't mean they should wait for the child to start reading. They can actually read to the child. So
Right.
bedtime stories, you must have
Yes,
heard.
that
Bedtime
should be
stories are
introduced.
very good. When children are going to sleep, the parent should take out some time, either the mother or the father, spend some time with the child, read to the child, you know.
Lovely
That's
point.
the best
Very
thing,
valid and crucial point. Yes.
So what happens is, I feel these reading bedtime stories, first thing is it improves the bond between the parent and the child, isn't it? Now, parents nowadays are so busy, they're at work, children are at school or something, or children are left behind being taken care of by maybe the caretaker or sometimes grandparents. So the time to improve the bonding is when the parent is reading to the child. So the child is, okay, listening. The child also feels secure because it's a very comfortable feeling that the mother or the father is reading to me.
Yes.
And obviously, the stories are so interesting. So even
And
if the
then they
child
are
listens
curious,
to,
no? Children are very
ah,
curious. If they don't get something, they ask, what is this?
they
I
ask
didn't get it. So somehow you are going to maybe explain in your own simple language or simple
words.
English,
Yes.
simpler than what was written in the book. And that's how children become anxious to know that what is next. Maybe tomorrow again they would say themselves that, Mama, can you read to me? And that's how children get into it.
Yeah, yeah. And see, even if the child listens, let's say about one paragraph, that's also enough. And then they go to sleep because they're being, in that soothing voice when the father or mother is reading, then obviously they feel sleepy and they go to sleep. And that's the best possible thing. They might have sweet dreams and they love the fact that the mother or father is taking the time to spend with me. So it's a very precious time for both the parent and the child. And obviously, as I said, the vocabulary is something that they ingrain, they absorb,
Right.
and then they come out with it. They start speaking well, they start writing well. So this is something which any parent should invest time in. They should not say, "Ki, my child is only 1.5 year old or 1 year old. What am I going to start?" It's the best time to start. Start early.
Right.
That's it.
But as a contradictory, what happens that bedtime is somewhere dedicated to mobile. Whether father or mother, they keep on scrolling before they go to hit the sack. Okay. As a result, children also want the same thing, that they also want to spend their time on screen, maybe if mobile is given to them. And somewhere I have seen analogy that parents have provided them personal mobile.
Yes. I
So
think when at a young age, it's not needed at all. They can start maybe after, let's say, 13, 14 years.
yes,
Nothing
after
wrong in
class
that.
10th, if
After
they need,
12, let's
yes,
say,
10th or
but if
12th,
it's
if they
really
are going for the
necessary,
exam, board exam, somewhere out of station,
uh,
maybe for that, for security purpose, if you have given, that's fine. But today, very small kids also, they are into just doom scrolling, watching anything unknowingly.
playing any
Whatever
games.
is served
So
on the screen,
everything is
everything.
available.
Yes.
On the internet, everything is available. So they are, I mean, there's no, what should I say, no censorship unless you have a child lock system and all that, which doesn't happen most of the time. So I know children who take their grandmother's phones because they want to play games. The children don't have
And
phones.
grandparents, they do not stop them. They willingly,
They
they will give it.
cannot stop them also. I've noticed, I have somebody was telling me, he just takes my phone and they play games. So, okay, games for a little while is okay. But if they
Yes.
were, I mean, let's say, if they were reading something, that would be so much better. The ability to express ourselves, we should have beautiful words. Language is such a beautiful thing. And if we could get that wealth, that's what I say, whatever the language, mother tongue, one should be good in their mother tongue also. And then any other language, and English is something which we all need to have, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Today I
So I
see
think
unlearning. Yes, yes,
reading
please.
habit is something which
Yes.
is sadly lacking nowadays, unless the parents really make a point of it and, inculcate that habit,
Yes.
create that environment in the house.
Right, right, right. Yes, if parents have the habit of maybe reading something in the name of Bible, in the name of Quran, in the name of Ramayana, in the name of any book, if they are reading, so child would also think that, okay, I should also have something to read. Okay. And then indirectly they learn.
That's what, as I said,
And
as a child, I learned from Channa Mama, because all that they used to give a little bit of the Mahabharata in the story, in that every episode, every month, that is. So most of my knowledge about Mahabharata came from there. And then later we had Amar Chitra Katha also. So Amar
Amar
Chitra
Chitra
Katha
Katha, yeah, yes.
comics are so beautiful.
Oh,
And
we
they
are
have done a
reminiscing
great
today,
job.
actually, these books. See, Amar Chitra Katha, I could not recall when you said, see, we have read all these books. Wonderful books they were. They are actually, not they were,
I
they
don't
are
know if
still.
they're if they're still coming out. I'm not sure. But on
Maybe the
YouTube, I
new
think the
editions are
episodes
not
are
coming,
available.
maybe, but at least the old editions must be available.
Panchatantra, and we children are not aware. Now, a lot of children might know about Superman or something, but there is so much in our own country as well. That's what they should know.
Yes.
I
And
remember,
reading is, yes.
I remember as a young child also, I read the biography of Mahatma Gandhi. So it was meant for children only. It
Yes.
was written in such a way that children could read. So I think it was maybe 10 or 12 years old, which my father had bought it from somewhere. So the entire story of Mahatma Gandhi as a child. So it was very surprising also, and like an eye opener, because Mahatma Gandhi is like, as we were when we were children, father of the nation. That's how it was. So much respect given in those days. And but later I was so surprised to read that Mahatma Gandhi himself had said that I was very scared as a timid child. He was very scared of the dark and he used to run. I mean, every time he had to go alone somewhere in the night, I mean, if he was
He
forced to,
wanted someone to accompany.
as a child, he would just run. Then I think his mother told him that when you're scared, just say Ram, 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 Ram. So that's what he started with, Ram, Ram. And then he started feeling bolder. And that also inspired me, actually. As a child, I remember I said, Acha, Ram, Ram, if you're feeling scared of the
Whenever
dark,
you are
say
scared.
Ram, Ram. As a child. So when you're scared, say Ram, 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 because Mahatma Gandhi did the same thing as a child. So those are so many inspiring things we learn from these famous people's life.
Yes.
That is what.
There is no bones about it. How much we have learned from these books. Yes. Nobody told us when Champak or Nandan or any book used to come in the house. And later, when I was in college days, I remember Femina, Women's Era,
Femina. Yeah,
Charita, in
that.
Hindi, all these books,
Yeah,
Science
I've read
Digest.
all these,
Yes,
yes.
all these books we used to read.
Um,
And
mm,
when we used to start reading, we just forget about tracking the
everything.
time even. And today you see, I mean, 70 to 80% or more than 80% children, at least they spend more than 1 hour on screen. But
Yeah.
active listening or active reading is hardly maybe a few seconds or maybe a few minutes. So
That's because that environment has not been created for them,
not been
neither
created,
at home nor in
nor
their
at
education
school.
institutions, unfortunately. So there are so many schools where I've noticed that all the focus is on training their students to get into IIT. So that IIT coaching starts from class 7, imagine. And their free periods are gone. No games period also. Forget about
Yes.
library. Even the games periods are gone because they're studying so
Sometimes
sincerely for
art period,
IIT.
SUPW period, games
They're
period,
all
because
mostly
syllabus completion is more important.
some schools don't even have those all that creative work, nothing, because the
Right.
focus is on training the students for IIT. And imagine starting in class 7 or 8.
Right, right. There is a vast change actually if we compare from our age to today's era. But yes, this is AI time, this is a smartphone time. So everything is fine. But one piece of advice for the parents, Anilaji, it is very important because we have the greatest role
Yes.
to teach our kids. May it be parents, grandparents. I remember my grandmother used to tell us one single story more or less every day at bedtime. At
Yes.
bedtime. And those stories were so touching. Some were very fearful, some were so exciting. And we used to laugh. Sometimes we used to be afraid of that story, the characters, the way they used to explain. But
Yeah.
now, gone those
So
days. Gone
those
those
days are
days.
gone.
Yeah, yes. So,
Then
one piece of
those
advice for the parents, Anilaji, this is very crucial.
see, I feel parents have such a great role. So something like bedtime stories they can always start off with. There is nothing that stops them. I'm sure
Mhm.
every parent can take out, let's say, 20 minutes or half an hour
Mhm.
in the night. Obviously, the children go to bed early. They
Right.
they might not sleep at the same time as the parents. So when they are tucking them in their bed, read a little bit. So that puts them in that habit of listening. It makes them curious, improves their language. And as I said, the bond between parents, nothing like it. The bond becomes stronger between parent and
Yes, yes.
child.
Even though they are into passive listening, also, somewhere something they really absorb.
That is later they'll start reading on their own. But when they're very
Mm.
young, we should read to them. And once they start reading, of course, they will start reading because that curiosity is developed in them. No? They want to read. So then they start reading on their own once they're able to read. But when they're very young, let's say 1 year old, 2 year old, just start something, read a little bit. And parents, as I said, are the role models for the children. So what the parents do, we as parents, we sit with a mobile or any electronic device or with the television. So what are the children going to do?
Yeah.
Whatever they observe, they think, okay, my adults are doing it, it's good. That's what they feel.
Yeah, they always take their
So
parents as an ideal, isn't it?
I did, yes.
Yes.
So they follow, obviously. So this is what I said. Bedtime reading is something which people should take out time, read to the children. And then once the child is able to read, buy them good books. Get them books, let them read. Whatever the language, let them read. Hmm? So
Yes.
this is what I said. The language is something which should not give up. It's such a precious wealth.
So
And if
many
the child
valuable
is
things
able
you
to
are
express
sharing.
himself,
Yes, Anilaji, I feel like talking more and more. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and your wisdom for the audience. And some parents would certainly imbibe this bedtime reading. This is something
yes, I hope
really
they do.
very,
Mm,
very nice
mm,
thing to start with. Maybe even
mm.
you start with 1 minute of reading. 1 minute reading, and gradually you increase maybe 2 minutes.
Increase the time. Yes,
Yes,
yes.
this is
I
the
I
best
used to create
solution.
when when my children were young, I used to create stories. I used to write stories also. So I used to tell them in the night. But then I used to feel so sleepy also. Then my children would, you know, shake me up.
Mama, please
Mummy,
read.
what is it? What's going on? Not reading. I was telling them on my own because they were my own stories, which I'd written. But I was feeling so sleepy, maybe, because I was tired with the whole day or something. Mummy, what happened? They would shake me. They would get a little annoyed also, I remember.
Yes.
Those were not reading. The lights were switched off, and I used to actually tell the stories in those days. I remember some stories. And if I would feel sleepy, I would doze off. They would get annoyed.
With this,
Memories, you
Anila
know?
ji, I feel like we should wrap
Mm,
up on a right note. Otherwise, this will abruptly end the call because this is Zoom
yes.
call. So it gives us
Yeah.
just 40 minutes and moreover, 39 minutes. We
Mm.
have already discussed
No,
something.
I must
So
thank you, Manjuji, for choosing a very topic which is close to my heart. Reading habits is something which I've always felt strongly about, and I'm so glad you brought it up. It's a beautiful
And
topic.
I'm so grateful and indebted to you that you explained
Okay.
everything so well, Anila ji, that it's going to touch everyone's heart that how important reading is and how it can be really inculcated among the children.
Among
And
the
even
children,
we
yes.
can start. Sometimes we feel that I'm not a
Mm.
voracious reader. We can start with even 1 minute reading every day. And if 1 minute, that 1 minute would change into maybe hours and hours. Because books are the
Start
best
for the
friends,
children,
even
you're
I
saying.
feel today
Children,
also.
for the children, you're saying. Huh?
Yes, yes.
I, of course, when I always keep a few books by my bedside, and before going to sleep, I read. In between, when I cannot sleep, I switch on the light and read, because I find reading is something which actually also, allows you to sleep.
So, yes, thank you so much, Anila ji.
Thank you so much. Thank
Good
you.
night.